The IW Science Project has spent 3 years looking at the last 20 years of science in GEF projects. A huge important part of this is the groundwater aspects. It's well recognised that groundwater has been lacking a lot of international agreements, and also the understanding of these transboundary aquifers is needed to be able to effectively manage them. It's very exciting to be here at the IW Science Conference to see the outcomes of the IW Science Project being discussed and used and incorporated into the future management of this important resource. The Groundwater Working Group of the IW Science Project was one of the 5 groups looking at the different IW system types within the IW portfolio. The other 4 were the river basins, lakes, large marine ecosystems and the open ocean. The Groundwater Working Group was especially important because the groundwater and aquifers are something that not enough focus has been spent on, both nationally but also transboundary. They're very difficult to understand and manage. It's very exciting to see the IW Science Working Group members, many of them are here. They've now been incorporated into the IW Science Network that's going to continue and work with these findings into the future coming out of the conference. And also a huge important part of this is the Groundwater COP being run by UNESCO that's going to integrate and bring in new knowledge and understanding so we can effectively manage the groundwater aquifers around the world into the future.
During 2 years, we was working at the project of IW Science, leading the Groundwater Working Group, trying to find the scientific component in the GEF portfolio. We identify the projects about groundwater, a very few projects really, and then we prepare some reports about the presence or absence of a scientific component in the development of the project.
In the work that has been done during these days of the meeting, one of the things that occurred to me and to others as well is the importance of interaction, and interaction in different ways. We see in projects very often a scientist is very much introvert, is doing his own job, triggered by his own scientific interest, etc. And often the projects do not have the structure to facilitate the interaction that is needed to ensure that the results of scientific activities really will make a difference on the ground finally. So what happens, what is missing very often, structural moments of interaction. For instance, interaction between scientists of different disciplines, but also between scientists and decision makers, because we should not think that the scientist is just producing information and have a one-way interaction with others by producing his results. No, also the scientist should know about what is the world of the decision makers.
Just to inform you and ask your advice on the integration dialogues that we're planning to organize as part of the IW Learn community of practice work. The idea is to bring together the surface water and the groundwater projects of GEF in a region so that they exchange views.
The idea is tremendously important because all over the world integrated water resource management is stressed, and that must happen in river basins. That's also the policy in Africa. All water management must happen within a framework of river basin management. And to learn how groundwater, a very localized resource, can fit into river basin management needs this kind of discussion. groundwater, surface water, to institutionalize good groundwater management. So definitely we would love to have it in Africa. IWRM is a very complex thing, and to really make it work, you need all the stakeholders to participate, not only the government water managers, but also the society itself, the users of the water.
I'm glad you're here because the groundwater community is a critical one. All of you know that that you have much more water that's available than the simple freshwater systems, and it's kind of hard to use and expensive to use the marine systems. So really, for the future, but even for now, for many places, with half the people of the world drinking groundwater, you provide the resource that not only sustains the communities, but you actually have the strategic resource for the future. As we get more into droughts and floods, we have to adjust the way we think. And the subsurface is the place where there will still be water. It's a strategic resource. So we at GF take home that we need to make things simpler, that projects need to have a easier time of coming to GEF, and that we really need to scale up the number of aquifer, groundwater, managed aquifer recharge, groundwater dependent ecosystem type of projects that we have. And I hope everyone goes back fired up to try to work on their GF projects and to bring new ones into the fold, because with the next GF replenishment in a year and a half, we have to double or triple the number of projects. Groundwater is that important, and that came out of this meeting.
Colleagues, I think we discussed already several times the possibility of integrating different ecosystem types projects, and what we started to do in the Mediterranean, I think, is the integrating of groundwater activities and actions together with the LMEs. I think it is also important for GF maybe in the next phase of the GF to look at the basin-wide approach, when the GF will address not a specific ecosystem, lake or river or groundwater, but look at the system to integrate this. One of the pilot I think we're doing now in Baikal Lake, where we're looking at the basin of the lake, right, not the lake itself. We're looking at the rivers, and we're looking at the groundwater. So what do you think? I mean, how should we pilot this or replicate this in the other projects?
I think we should not only focus on the water resource and the integration aspects, but also on the socioeconomic side. Because I was very, very interested to talk to marine people, and the socioeconomics of fishing and the socioeconomics of small-scale agriculture on land, the issues are so similar. I think it will be a very stimulating discussion to have the stakeholders on the ground also be part of that kind of integration discussion.
We'll try to extract this for both community of practice, for the community of practice of groundwater, as well as the community of practice for freshwater resources.
And the next time will be just one community of practice.
Exactly, I think so.
In the Baikal project, the first time we applied the complex basin approaches. It's the first in the GF portfolio, where together we consider lake, river, and biodiversity and groundwater component as well. It is very important to consider all ecosystem like one whole process.
I think the important thing is the holistic approach, to groundwater, and to harmonize the management within the framework of river basin and lake basin organizations, so that groundwater is integrated as a complete part of the basin. Within the green economy, we should look more at the conjunctive use and also possibly include managed aquifer recharge where possible. And within the framework of water security, very important. So groundwater should be looked at, taken from local to a strategic resource.
So you need all the science, you know, all the complications. But then you have to translate this into a cartoon.
Sure, you know, right. I mean, like
That goes straight to the...
2 pages that you can just take to a decision maker.
That's where we are. That's what we don't do. We go there with the...
Now I did this for Lake Victoria, which I had started working on in 1992, on a napkin. In like 10 minutes, it's become a famous napkin.
Yes. There are people who keep these napkins of our
Now the
famous...
World Bank spent $1 million on the TDA and SAP. We got reports like this, but a simple cartoon took 15 minutes.
Right.
See, I need to get into the consulting business now. I'm a
Cartoon.
cartoon maker.
You did it very fast.
But that
You did it very fast.